and now talks funny. Mark Bailey. This guy is more persistent than Halley's Comet. Mark Bailey, and now talks funny. And what would I know about that?
We're back with Talk Funny. I'm Mark Bailey, and we're here with Steve B. Howard.
Hello.
Published author. And before we get to, you may or may not read something from that, but I wanted to ask you about the writing process. So when you're writing Bigfoot jokes and flatulence jokes, it doesn't take as much time, even it takes more time than people think. But when you're writing these kind of things, you must have to research stuff. And how long does it write? Like for this book, how much time you think you spent researching and rewriting and drafting and?
Well, to get the first draft done, I think it was probably 2.5 years. And I mean,
Wow.
this is actually a novella, so it's about 140 pages total, 30,000 words.
Right.
Yeah, and this was a story that stayed in my head for probably, I mean, at least the rough idea for it for probably a good 3 years before I actually put anything on paper. So, and then once it was, I had a draft. I wrote, I think, 4 drafts before I started submitting it to publishers, and that was another 6 months before the publishing company, Urban Farmhouse Press, agreed to publish it, and then it took another probably almost 2 years before the book was finally out, available on Amazon. So all total, probably 5 years at least.
Wow.
Yeah. But so it's of course there's authors that can write 5 books a year, but generally it takes a lot longer, I think, for most writers.
You write this on a laptop, or you use memo pads?
A combination. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. I actually prefer to handwrite everything out, but I hate typing, and so if I actually have one novel that I've only typed out half of it because I hand wrote the whole thing. It's about 150 pages, and it's taken me over 2 years just to type everything back into the computer. So
Dragon has the dictation system that's been from the 90s. It's a disaster, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I've messed around with a couple of different voice to text programs, and some of them are pretty good, but not because then if they're not 100%, then you have to go back and do all the editing anyway. So for me, I just found it takes almost as much time to do that anyway. So
I think we'll have a colony on Jupiter before they perfect that technology. And as an example of using Dragon dictation, which I don't use anymore, I was trying to dictate my suicide note, and when she read it back to me, that's how I got my bid, because it was so funny and so far from what I actually said. So
it was actually uplifting.
Yeah, it was actually a good bit. So why waste that? I've got to get on stage now. Every time I'm on stage, that's 2 more hours I'm still alive that I haven't done myself in. So did you have something you wanted to read, or?
I'll read just maybe a page here.
This is from the Adamantine Passage.
Adamantine River Passage. Yeah. Okay. Then I was spun around rapidly in what felt like a giant washing machine. At the head of the pool, the bottom dropped out, and I was spun around again, and the deeper, stronger current pulled me under. It threw me end over end. Now I was on my belly, facing downstream. I tried kicking my legs to get to the surface, but the current and the weight of my backpack sunk me like an old log. I slammed into the riverbank and came to a halt in a tangle of tree branches and 2 massive black roots that I was wedged between. The current and the weight of all my gear was holding me under the water. Panic hadn't set in yet. I could still think. I knew I was immobilized about 3 feet beneath the surface and was still holding my breath with little strain. My shirt was billowing out in the strong current, and the coldness was moving up my spine. The undercut bank and break created by the tangle of roots caused the current to roar through here and acted like a massive weight on my body. The big upper root went across the middle of my backpack, and my chest was pinned against the lower one. In my position, I could just barely move my arms to try to free myself. My legs trailed behind me in the current, but there was nothing solid to push off with to help free me.
Very good. So that was from Stevie Howard's book, The Adamantine River Passage. Mm-hmm. That's some pretty good stuff. I'd like to read something that I was busy doing in April of 1993.
Okay.
This is from the Alien Rules to Ride by Samurai.
Legendary.
By Samurai, and this is something I wrote when I was at my. So I didn't kill myself at my stupid English conversation school that I was at. Okay, seriousness, please, everyone. So these are the new rules for the subway system, and if you violate these new rules, you're going to be banned from the system forever. The subway system in Nagoya. So each passenger must fall into one or more of the following categories. Category A, a blood alcohol count of at least 35% or more. In other words, if you drink all the alcohol on one shelf of a convenience store, this should qualify you. So you notice, even back then I had a little bit of attitude. After 2 years of living in Japan, I was already filling to the brim. Category B, courtesy or standing in line is strictly forbidden. If you behave as if you're the only person on the island, you'll be fine. Category C, your breath should be noticeable from at least 5 meters away. The ideal mixture for this breath odor is a combination of old coffee, potent alcohol, tobacco, phlegm, and advanced tooth decay. Category D, if you have bathed or brushed your teeth in the past month, you will not be allowed on the subway under any circumstances. This is non-negotiable. Category E, if possible, you should, after entering the subway car, block any other passengers from entering that door. This will reduce the wear and tear on the delicate door thresholds of the subway car. Category F, you should set a goal of annoying at least 10 of your fellow passengers each time you ride the subway. For example, talk in any language or even make up one of your own. You can also choose a subway buddy for the day and follow him. Category G, if you're a girl, refrain from making eye contact or even acknowledging another human being while on the train. The suggested method is to act as if you are in a severe coma with your eyes open. Category H, sleeping is allowed, but only if you lean on the next closest person. Category I, if you have children, please don't let them sleep on the train. We'd prefer that you encourage them to shout and run about as much as possible. Category J, in order to maximize train capacity, sit slightly closer than humanly possible to your neighbor. Simply speaking, if you can't hear your neighbor's heartbeat, you aren't close enough. Category K, if you are mentally deranged, you ride free on weekdays. Category L, if you're planning to molest someone on the train, tell the station master of your plans ahead of time and receive a free packet of tissues. Category M, by the way, write to Steve B. Howard at sportsjapan@yahoo.com. Category M, if you are a parent with an infant who hasn't yet learned how to walk, may we suggest teaching them by trial and error at Sakai Station on the busy stairways. Rush hour only, please. Category N, the Nagoya Transit Authority wants to be part of the community, so special walking passes will be available for people who don't have any particular place to go. Feel free to walk around. It's fun for the whole family to find someone trying to get to an appointment and get in front of them. Cheap, too. Passengers who do not violate the rules and can be classified into 3 or more of the above categories will qualify for a 15% rider discount pass. Transit officials say the new standards will keep riffraff off the streets and on the subways where it belongs. Okay, a little bit different in tone.
Yeah.
You can hear, even in 93, that's someone who's just lost it.
Yeah.
So and I'm still here, so there is hope, people.
I actually wrote a similar piece called Summertime's Burning in Japan with a very similar sarcastic tone that maybe I'll read on another episode.
Yeah, there's something when you ride the subway, if you ride it enough, like twice, you just become very bitter. So we're going to end this now, and we'll come back with next week with Steve B. Howard. I'm Mark Bailey, and you can contact us at sportjapan@yahoo.com, ASKPORTJAPAN. I have to explain that that's a former company that I have a very good email system set up with that. It's very easy for me to control spam. And basically, if you troll us, I know where you live. That's what I like about it.
And you can find my book on either Amazon.com or Amazon.cojp, and I think it's also on Barnes & Noble's.
And by the way, Amazon COJP was invented by Japanese, apparently, as was ramen. Never mind that it's Chinese. But okay, we'll see you next week, and this has been Talk Funny.
Thanks a lot.